when my phone rang that morning. The number on the screen didn't look familiar. The voice that followed was faint, trembling. "Ethan," she said softly. "It's me, Claire." For a few seconds, I couldn't speak. It had been 3 weeks since I last heard her voice. 3 long weeks since she packed her bags and walked out after yet another fight that left us both hollow. Hearing her again, and from a hospital no less, felt unreal. She said she'd been in a car accident, something about a night gone wrong. But then came the part that made my stomach turn. "I need your help. They won't let me go until the bill's paid." That's how I learned my wife's so-called business dinner had really been a date. Not just any date, but one with a man she'd been secretly seeing. The same man who vanished right after crash, leaving her alone to face everything. I couldn't answer right away. My mind replayed the last few months like an old film. Her sudden late nights, that unfamiliar perfume, the quiet smile whenever her phone buzzed. I'd asked once if something was wrong between us. She'd laughed it off. "You're overthinking, Ethan. Don't be paranoid." But I hadn't been imagining things. I'd just been pretending not to see. The truth showed itself piece by piece. A co-worker casually mentioning she was out with a friend, a hotel receipt that slipped from her purse, a jacket that smelled of another man's cologne. I tried to convince myself that people make mistakes, that marriage wasn't about catching lies, but holding on through them. That illusion shattered the night she looked me straight in the eye and said, "I'm not happy, Ethan. I want to feel alive again." I didn't ask with whom. I just stepped aside and let her walk away. Now, 3 weeks later, she was calling from a hospital bed, her voice weak and pleading. I almost felt pity, almost. "Why me?" I asked quietly. "Where's the man who makes you feel alive?" Silence, then a faint sob. "He's gone. He left. I have no one else." I looked out the window, sunlight spilling over the empty street. I thought about all the nights I'd begged her to stay, to talk, to care, and now she wanted my help. "Claire," I said finally, "you made your choice." Her silence was heavy, thick with the kind of regret that only comes when life finally presents the bill. I could hear faint hospital sounds in the background. Machines beeping, footsteps, a nurse asking for signatures. She tried to speak again, her voice cracking. "Ethan, please. I know I hurt you, but I don't have anyone else." I closed my eyes. Those exact words, "I don't have anyone else," were what I'd once told her years ago when I lost my job and the bills stacked up. She just said she needed space, that she couldn't handle the pressure. Back then, I thought love meant forgiveness. But now, listening to her beg, all I could think about was how easily she traded loyalty for excitement. "What do you want from me, Claire?" I asked. "They won't discharge me until I pay," she sniffled. "My card been declined. My parents aren't answering." "I swear I'll pay you back. Just this once, Ethan." It's strange how betrayal changes the way you hear a voice. I remembered how she used to sound, lively, full of warmth, humming while she cooked. That voice had disappeared long before she walked out. What remained now was exhaustion, fear. "You didn't think of me when you left," I said softly. "You didn't think about bills or promises then. Why now?" Her breathing hitched. "Because I thought he cared," she whispered. "He said I deserved better, that I was wasting my life with someone who didn't understand me. But when the accident happened, he just ran. He didn't even look back." A bitter laugh almost escaped me, not from humor, but disbelief. The man she'd risked everything for, the one who supposedly made her feel alive, had left her broken and alone. "Maybe this is your wake-up call," I said coldly. There was a pause, then a weak, hollow laugh. "Guess karma doesn't take long, huh?" I didn't respond, because deep down, I knew she wasn't the only one who'd crashed. I had too, months ago, when trust died and left invisible scars behind. "I'll think about it," I told her and ended the call. My hand shook slightly, not from anger, but from the strange emptiness that follows too much hurt. I stared at my reflection in the window. For the first time in a long while, I didn't feel like the victim. That night, I found myself parked outside the hospital, watching the fluorescent glow flicker across its glass walls. I wasn't sure why I came. Maybe curiosity. maybe closure. I told myself I wouldn't go inside, that I just needed to see her once more, confirm it was really over. But closure is a liar. It convinces you that peace needs one last look, one final word, one goodbye. Inside, the air smelled like disinfectant and quiet sorrow. I told the nurse I was her husband. Old habits die hard. I'd always been the one to show up when she needed saving. When I reached her room, I hesitated. Through the small window, I saw her, pale, bruised, smaller somehow. Not the confident woman who once demanded freedom, but someone who had nowhere left to run. Her eyes widened when she saw me. "Ethan," she breathed. "You came." "I did," I said. My voice sounded calmer than I felt, but not for the reason you think. She swallowed. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen." "No one ever does," I replied, "but choices come at a cost." I glanced at the papers beside her bed. The bill, the forms, the debt. Not just financial. "You wanted independence," I said quietly. "Now you have it, along with the price." Tears slid down her cheeks. "Please, Ethan, I don't have anyone else." That line again, but now it didn't sting. It just drifted through me like wind over stone. "You did once," I said, "but you burned that bridge when you chose someone else's arms over the ones that held you when you were broken." She reached out, trembling. "You're still angry." "No," I said softly. "I'm finally done." I turned to leave. Her voice followed, but I didn't stop. A nurse called after me as I stepped into the hall, holding a slip of paper. "Sir, will you be handling her bill?" I looked at it once, then shook my head. "No, she's already spent what I owed her." The night air hit me as I walked outside. Cool, clean, final. My phone buzzed again, but I didn't look. For once, silence was enough. I got in my car, started the engine, and drove away, the hospital shrinking in the rearview mirror. For 4 years, I've been paying off the emotional debts she left behind. Tonight, for the first time, I let the bill stay unpaid.